4 season recap here in our perfect world redo. Again, all rosters at 100%, no injuries, full strength, no opt-outs, no COVID, no nothing, just strength on strength football. Thursday night football saw the Broncos beat the Jets 24-19. I think that's 0-4 for the Jets. We'll check here in a second. Cardinals and Panthers, that was a close one. One of our other semifinalists for Game of the Week. Cardinals ended up winning 20-17. Baltimore Ravens best the Washington football team 27-24. 34-27, Titans beat the Steelers. We saw that one earlier as well. Chargers, another big time win, and the Buccaneers are 1-3, and they are struggling big time. The struggle bus is parked in Tampa right now as they try to figure those pieces out. 26-22, Seahawks beat the Dolphins. We just watched the Colts beat the Bears 26-13. Cincinnati gets their third win after beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 32-29. Close game there. Unfortunately, we remember the Cowboys beat the Browns 17-14. Detroit gets their first win of the season by beating the Saints. 23-13, Vikings beat the Texans. The Texans, their first loss of the season. The Giants, they finally get in the win column after beating the red-hot Los Angeles Rams. So that was a good. Let's check out the box score at this one since that's a little bit funky. Turnovers, yeah, not a ton, just 2-1, but they were able to get it done. 450-5 to 455. Did that say OT? It did say OT, so this one actually went to OT, and they got it done. Daniel Jones, 3 touchdown passes. He had been pretty awful to start the game, and that's how it's going to win. Barkley 16 of 65 in that game. So good for the Giants to get their first win. Congratulations, Joe Judge. His first win as an NFL coach. Bills and Raiders, and the Raiders again after riding roughshod over the Patriots last week, where they scored 45 points, I believe. They're going to go 27-16 for the win over the Bills. Patriots beat the Chiefs 36-24, and the Chiefs are struggling big time. Eagles beat the 49ers. That was the other semifinal for our NFC game of the week, and the 49ers remain undefeated by beating the Eagles 31-17. And on Monday Night Football, the Packers at Lambeau beat the Falcons 35-24. So let's take a quick look at the stats after 4 weeks of play here in our sim land. Starting, of course, in the AFC North, 3-1. Bengals alone at the top. We saw the Steelers drop and the Browns both drop this week, and the Ravens in fourth place. Titans, they're undefeated. 4-0, 3-1, 3-1. That's a strong division outside of the Jaguars. Bills and Patriots now tied at 2-2. That's going to be a big-time matchup when it comes, and the Jets continuing to struggle big time. AFC West, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, and then the Chiefs sitting down there at the bottom, 1-3. Look how many points they've given up, 148 points. They've got some real issues on their defense to start the season. NFC North, undefeated Packers. Bears, we just saw them get their first loss. Vikings at 500, and the Lions with 1 win. Panthers got their first loss as well. They're a 3-1 football team. 1-3 for the Bucks and Saints, both teams who expect to make the playoffs, and the Falcons are struggling. NFC East, Cowboys are 3-1. Everybody else is 1-3. So probably what would have maybe happened had Dak not gotten hurt. 4-0 49ers and 3-1 everybody else. So that final first loss came for the Rams. And that's a very strong division as well. Power rankings have the final 3 unbeaten teams, Packers, Titans, and 49ers sitting there at the top of the rankings. Also, a special treat here, we're going to do some stats. Our first quarterly 4 weeks into the season stat breakdown. If you are interested in statty type things like this, like I am, and you're a big nerd, which is cool because we love nerds. So passing. Your league leader in passing yards, Sam Darnold, second only Baker Mayfield, Goff, Herbert, Roethlisberger, Mahomes, Murray, the quarterbacks who are over 1,200 yards passing so far. Most completions so far in the league, 127 for Baker, 124 Darnold. Most passing attempts in the league, Darnold at 181. So let's look at completion percentage. Of course, you're going to get a bunch of people who have completed 1 pass. There's Baker at 83%. How about that? Baker at 83%, but somehow still 4 picks and 17 sacks if you look over there at the right, as he is the best of the starting quarterbacks. TD passes led by Justin Herbert with 13, Rodgers with 12, Carr with 11, Wilson, Big Ben, Cam, and Darnold all with 10. And then your interception leaders are Pat Mahomes with 9. That might be part of the reason they're losing a bunch of football games. Daniel Jones, Cousins, Burrow, Darnold, Tagovailoa, Minshew, and Wentz are your interception leaders. Yards per game, we talked about this one. Darnold, Mayfield, Goff, Herbert continuing to lead that charge. Again, let's talk about sacks taken. A brutal stat, 23 for Stafford, 20 for Alex Smith, Roethlisberger with 19, and then Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones tied at 17, which is brutal because the Browns' offensive line is way better than that. Let's take a quick look at the rushing stats. Your rushing leaders are Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, Raheem Mostert, Melvin Gordon, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. Those are your running backs who are over 300 yards on the campaign. Average yards per carry, 10 for the one carry. There's Cam Newton, Zach Moss. Let's get to our first real running back with some real amount of carries. And that is Christian McCaffrey, again, averaging 5.9 a clip. So that's pretty good. Rushing touchdowns, your leaders are Deontay Foreman. We've seen a couple of them, Mostert and Nick Chubb with 4. Leading the league. How about broken tackles? This is always a fun stat to see. 19 broken tackles for Akers, 14 for McCaffrey are your first couple of broken tackle leaders. Catches, let's start with receptions themselves. Gesicki and Amari Cooper right there at the top, and then Ebron Perryman from the Jets. Holy moly. Alshon Jeffrey, who of course spent a lot of time being hurt in the real life. Cooper Kupp, and Austin Hooper right there. Will Fuller, Godwin, Mike Thomas, all of the usual suspects up there at the top. A lot of tight ends in there as well, as we have seen. In terms of receiving yards, Eric Ebron is your leader. Beckham is second, Cooper third, Hopkins and BC Johnson is third. Touchdowns receiving, Jimmy Graham with 5, Tanyan with 5, Eifert with 5. So tight end city up at the top. Watkins with 4, along with Renfro, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Cooper Kupp, and Calvin Ridley, and Jacoby Myers. I'm sorry, Jacoby. Always one I like to see. So where's the drops? They don't have drops in there. Huh. It's not there. I can't check it. Defensively speaking, I like check a couple of things. Let's look at tackles. First off, your leader is Anthony Hitchens, Eric Kendricks, Miles Jack, Deion Jones, Joe Schobert, Jelani Tavai, and Carl Joseph, the first non-linebacker. Of course, he lines up as a linebacker there. Let's talk about TFLs for a second. And let's talk about 8 for Kenny Clark, 7 for Awunusar and Carl Lawson. Sacks, let's check them out. League leader, Myles Garrett with 9, 7 for Chandler Jones, Cam Jordan, 6.5, Von Miller with 6, Za'Darius Smith with 6, 5 for Aldon Smith, Fletcher Cox, and TJ Watt. So Myles leads that category all by himself. 5 picks for Desmond King. We saw 2 of them, 2 for pick sixes in that same game, in fact. Shaquille Griffin with 4, Ramsey with 3, along with Tre'Davious White and Desmond Trufant. Several others, I'm sure, with 2. Pass deflections, best defender of the football right now has been Bernardrick McKinney. And let's see about forced fumbles. That's kind of a fun topic as well. 3 forced fumbles for Hitchens. And now let's look at the amount of crazy defensive touchdowns there have been. 2 for Teron Johnson, Tre'Davious White, and Desmond King. And then a whole bunch more so far in this season. So that's a little bit of the stats here after the first quarter of the season. If you wanted to know, again, the Browns game will kick at 5:30 tonight. Appreciate all the subscribers. Hope you're enjoying this new Perfect World 2020 Redo Sim. Have a super duper day. Take care of yourselves and go Browns.